Hey, welcome back. Welcome. While Sarah Boone gets her mopping bucket to mop the floors at Lowell, we are going to pillage a bit. So put your stars on the map. As you know, Sarah likes to put stars on her map. So we over here like to add stars, so she can't outdo us. We have to have more stars on our map. All around the world, you guys have surprised me so much. You're watching from everywhere, dancing with the dogs, getting your handles, eating your medical snacks. Woo, I'm getting so excited. Okay, let's get this party started. There's been lots of controversies behind these calls and journals from Sarah Boone. We're going to have to do a whole separate episode just to keep up with the convo, futuristically, of course. And shout out to the mysterious Third Rail True Crime for the Sarah Boone phone calls and journals. So we have gotten into Sarah's cell and gotten her diary, her dirty diary. Sarah's telling us how great of a mother she is and how she was forced to drink. So we're going to listen to the apartment manager and debunk some of these lies. Pillage a bit.
Never saw Sarah outside playing with her kid, ever. As a matter of fact, most of the time, Lucas, you would find him riding around the property on his bike, unattended. No parents outside, no nothing. Because I had actually had a conversation with Sarah about that.
Sidebar, I have to give all of my excellent mothers a shout out today, and the super dads too. In this journal, Sarah's going to be talking about parenting, life at Tillwood, life with George, and how she survived another day. We get an inside look into her survival, point blank in between the eyes. Stocks and bonds, baby. Stocks and bonds. Old money. Know that. My excellent mothers and super dads, you guys have been in the comments section. Hellacious you are, scoundrels. It has been so funny as I'm editing and reading your comments. You guys, you sure know how to make a girl smile. All of my dimples are showing as I'm reading your comments. You guys are a snarky bunch. Okay, if you are new here, we are a bunch of snarky straight A students and scoundrels who have blood all over our keyboards. We have a good time in the comments section.
My boyfriend is dead.
Okay, send the line for the fire department. Do not hang up.
You met George Torres before you got the apartment?
Yes.
Okay. And you met him at a bar across the street from the marital home?
Yes, we had a mutual friend there.
Were you introduced?
Yes.
All right. How did you and George get along when y'all first met?
Very well. It was strange how quickly we hit things off and had so much in common, and I never thought that he would be interested in someone like me, and I just couldn't believe that he was actually interested in me and said a lot of nice things, and 1 hour ended up being 4 hours from when we had first met, and then we would always have something to talk about.
Why couldn't you believe that he would be interested in you?
He was very handsome. He was very funny. He was smart, and I would show up in workout clothes and disheveled hair, and I guess I kind of felt broken from being in the process of the divorce that he knew about. But then one of the things that we could relate also was the fact that he was here in Florida because he had just been divorced from his second wife. So that was another topic that he and I could compare notes on.
Okay, do you notice she's beaming? She is smiling, cheesing, as we say. She could have mentioned at that time, those 4 hours were the most dreadful 4 hours of my life. George did this to me. Nonetheless, she described it as a great time, which leads us into the journals. I haven't read the journals. I skimmed through the first page and this instantly popped in my head and I wanted to share it with you guys. So let's get blood all over our keyboards. Remember, this is all part of Sarah's fantasies. It's not real. None of it. Please do not take any of this as fact. It's purely fiction.
Grabbed the baseball bat and was trying to poke his hand to go back in to please don't break through, please. So I hit his.
All right, let me set the mood. So this will be the first time arrested. We've seen this footage when she had the red shirt on, I believe. This is the There's a little human in the house. It's the holidays. Forgive me. This was the infamous ragdoll situation. Let's get this party started. So Sarah says, the first time she remembers, we're going back to Muldoon's. That's the sports bra across the street. Brian's never been there. He doesn't go to that type of place, but Sarah does. And she's bumming cigarettes and lines off of random people. George is embarrassed. Prior, he's grabbed the car keys and just walked home when she was dancing with the dogs, sashaying around Muldoon's in her pink shorts like bish-ass Cashman. He just walked home. He was embarrassed. So this time she says, I remember George and I went across the street to Muldoon's to get out of the house, get out of the apartment for drinks and have some change of scene. George had previously warned me to only talk to him at the bar. He tried. Poor George. He tried. He's like, sit. Good Sarah, sit. I sat at the furthest table outside and George would go and get the drinks. We sat and talked. His ex-wife called repeatedly, but he didn't answer. And we just sat talking about her, the kids, his job, mom, etc. Sarah has always had an unhealthy obsession with George's family, in my opinion, and his extended family as far as his wife and ex-wife, former wife, and children. He's always talking about his kids. He's always talking about his kids. Oh, Sarah and these fantasies. We talked about my job working for a child psychologist after she read reports and didn't want to chance any type of altercations at work, especially having high-profile clients and children. So Sarah is saying that she worked at a child psychologist's office. For those of us who are wondering what she did previously, what type of employment she held. So Sarah goes on to talk about the previous time that her and George were arrested. I told you, to me, that arrest is what triggered her to eventually put George in the suitcase. She was so upset that she got arrested, which messed up her previous clean record. She had it out for George after that. So she goes on to say that the child psychologist she worked for had reservations because of her record and the arrest. So she says, I guess since I had to work on my felony charges / case, also George's too, when he came back, I fixed everything for both of us. His charges were dropped. Then a few weeks later, mine were also. The reason I let him come back, not move back in, baby steps, I told him, was because he begged and cried, telling me he's changed, especially since he knows I call the police now. Put the fear of God in him. Which I won't have to do because he'll never hit me again on his kid's life. Please give him one more chance, he said, on his knees. Let me show you, he said. It lasted about 2 weeks, maybe. Sarah wants us to believe in her fictional dirty diary that she fixed the prior problem when they were arrested. Although we've seen on the telephone footage where she coached George to go into the court and say, my girlfriend, she's innocent, she's a saint, she loves pets and dogs. One's blind, one's deaf. 2 Boston Terriers. The same coached speech she gave Lana that Lana said at her sentencing, right? Are you tracking? She wants us to believe that she magically got the charges dropped, but he's the one that did. He went in and pretty much lied for her, which is probably why his charges were dropped first, and then a few weeks later, as she says here, her charges were dropped. We saw that in the public records. Okay. Sorry. I'm wiping the blood off my keyboard. I guess since I had to work on my felony charges and case, and George's also, when he came back, I fixed everything for both of us. Isn't she so helpful? And did you hear when she said how she let him come back, not move back in? That's why today we're going to listen to the apartment manager, Melissa's interview, her field interview with Chelsea, coughing Chelsea, where she admits that George was a tenant there. So I believe the Torres family should have a civil lawsuit against Tillwood Apartments. What do you think? They allowed him to be illegally kicked out and evicted over and over again, and the manager participated and knew. Allegedly, we're just pillaging. No malicious content. But you know what I mean, right? Sarah even talked about how she folded his clothes up nicely and put them on the porch. I don't know how you can put someone's stuff out nicely. She put it on the porch outside. We saw where George would text Melissa and say, could you please escort me over there to get my stuff? She has my birth certificate, man. Like, dude, she has all of my documents. Those documents are what she used to lure him back over. Just come play darts with me. I have your birth certificate. It's mine. I paid for it. Why is this happening? Because George is dead. Not intentional, though. So are you tracking so far? Sarah's saying how her and George wanted to get out of the house. They walked or drove, wasn't clear. They went across the street to Muldoon's. They're hanging out. George has told her, like, hey, dude, don't get in everybody's face tonight, Sarah. Stop begging for cigarettes and lines. Just let me do the talking. I'll get the drinks. Let's just us chill. So she picked the furthest table on the patio, and they're just outside hanging out. George went to get the drinks. They're talking about family, life, and previous jobs. But she, in her mind, is thinking about the arrest when she was arrested with George and how she cleaned everything up. This is in her mind, remember. This dirty diary is from her vantage point. We are just here to pillage through the lies. We're finding out so much about Sarah, so many new things. She worked for a child psychologist. Maybe that's why she was such an excellent mother. We'll hear Melissa talk a little more about that too, her parenting skills. So she tells George, it's not a good idea for you to be drinking anymore, man. I think you need to slow down, you know, maintain and focus. She's trying to maintain and focus him. She got up. She went to go to the bathroom. He grabbed her arm, according to her, and then she describes this terrible knockout, drag through the mud brawl that her and George has over a handle. He's trying to toss her over the couch backward. He's bending her backward. He's about to waterboard the whole handle down her throat. Because we know she doesn't drink. She doesn't like to drink. She doesn't want to drink. And she can't get drunk. You can clearly tell the only way she was going to drink is if someone forced her, right? So he's forcing her. She's calling it, he's waterboarding her. He didn't stop until the bottle was empty. Sidebar. So do you guys think she swallowed it all? I think so. Kind of like the college kids when you're in college and you're chugging the keg. I think she didn't miss a drop. Never forget, she knows how much was in that bottle. Enough for 2 people. If you know the rest, fill it in the comment section. She's describing how she can't breathe. She's gurgling, choking. It's too much. She can't even think. Oh God, you guys hear that little human in the house? She can't even think. She doesn't know what's going on. Why is this happening? The way she described their first date, I'm wondering, how did we get here in the first place? If you believe her rendition. Nonetheless, she goes on to describe how her nose, her clothes, her hair, everything is drenched in wine. I'm pretty sure she enjoyed that. But she's drenched in wine. Pretty much a wine bath. OMG. She says that her nose is swollen and she has 2 black eyes. We know what that means. She snuck downstairs in little man's art supplies and smudged her face. Leave a trophy in the chat if you've already debunked Sarah's whole black eye lies. Now, we know Sarah, no matter what, she has to make it to that back porch. There's, my drink is back there and there's a cigarette. She wants to go outside and smoke a cigarette and have a drink. And check on the dogs, dance with the dogs. So she got up, regardless of the swollen nose and the full black eyes. She goes to the back porch to hang out a bit and smoke a cigarette. She goes on to detail how she sat on the back porch, just taking it all in, where eventually she and George met again. He came and apologized about the previous night, about the prior incident. She forgave him and consoled him. She told him it was okay. And both of her dogs sat on either side of her. Both of my dogs sat on either side of me. And I stayed on the back porch, feeling my nose and the side of my face. Do I need an x-ray? And that's that. Sarah leaves us on the back porch. Then the journal, The Dirty Diary, will continue on our next episode. Now, let's pillage a bit and go to Tillwood to hear the apartment manager, Melissa, just give us a little ins and out on she and George's relationship from another person's point of view. Let's get this party started.
Bruises and stuff on her. When shortly after she moved in with George, she came to the office to talk to me. We noticed bruises and stuff on her, and she asked me if she could talk to me privately and asked how she would be able to get George off of the lease. Is there any way to do that? Which prompted, deeper conversation. She proceeded to let me know and was showing me a lot of bruises and marks. There were handprints, scratches. She even at one point had to go to the hospital. Through multiple conversations that we had, it steadily progressed. She had a very large gash at one point in her shin. She had to go to the hospital and get that taken care of. I'm not exactly sure what it was from, but I think it had to do when they got into a fight outside and something got broke. I think it was one of their wine glasses or something. But she came to me at one point asking, what do I do? Like, how can I get rid of him? I've never dealt with this type of situation. I just counsel her as she continued to come to me and explain to her that, she had to make a decision if she was going to stay with him or not be with him. If she, was going to try to work things out, they needed to seek out therapy, help, something. It wasn't too long after that last conversation that I found out the police had come and George was arrested.
Okay, setting the stage. Sarah's at Tillwood. She's going around the apartment telling people her story. She's letting them know what's going on. None of these bruises or injuries are self-inflicted or from her being drunk. They are from George, right? So she's going to tell everyone. This apartment manager, Melissa, was going to give us some good tidbits. She felt a soft spot for Sarah. She really did. She decided to help Sarah, although she didn't come and testify at the trial because she possibly would have been asked why she allowed Sarah to lock George out of a unit where he paid and was on the lease. He was never taken off the lease. Sarah will tell us that when we visit court later. Mr. J kind of cornered her and he said, he knew. He said, he was a tenant. Well, he was not taken off the lease. He was, and she mumbled, he was made a different type of tenant. Mm-hmm.
Would you ever speak with George by himself? Like, did he ever confide in you about their relationship?
The one time where, like I was just saying, that when I talked to her, she asked me to go talk to him. But she's like, please, but put the fear of God in him. Fear of God in him. I'm a very stern property manager. You know, I don't tolerate a whole lot of crap.
Right.
And she knew that, and she seemed scared of him at the time. So I said, sure, no problem, just stay here. We'll go talk to him. I went over, sat down, talked to George. I talked to him for about 30 minutes altogether. And, you know, George had explained to me that she was actually the aggressive one. And the reason she ended up with Marks is, in my perception of what he was trying to explain is that she's very hands-on, in the face, you know, dramatized in talking and explaining or fussing or whatever they might have been doing.
Right.
And I believe that because Jean, my assistant, doesn't even like to deal with her, would avoid her like the plague because she was always drunk and she's very hands-on. There was one day, as a matter of fact, it was that same day that I talked to George by himself. She kept grabbing me by the arms to the point that I told her, I said, if you touch me one more time, we're going to have a problem. You know, I'm either going to contact the police or whatever we need to do, but you can't keep grabbing on me. I had asked her several times to quit touching me. And because of that, she would do the same thing to Jean, and Jean didn't like it.
Right.
So, you know, that's what he was explaining to me, is she was always the touchy one, the aggressive one, you know, not that she was hitting him, but she would be like in his face, or she might, you know, push him, or, you know, little things like that. And she would block him from coming out of the room or whatnot, and he would take her and move her. You know what I mean? And just, that's the way he had explained it to me.
Right.
She has told me, even literally to Monday, I have been told by her several occasions that he has drugged her around by the hair of her head. I've been, you know, told about by neighbors. I'm sorry I don't have it anymore, but at one point a tenant actually sent us a video clip via text of them two fighting and beating on each other out in the backyard. There was another complaint incident about a ladder being propped up to the wall that George was using to climb over the wall. 4720, her name just yet without talking to her, but George and her fighting that different evening had actually wandered into her home.
Yeah.
If it continued, I was putting them out. Right. So the time when we actually got George to sign off the lease.
Right.
And he came to me and said, you know, I can't get back in the house. She's got all my personal paperwork, because would you please have a conversation with her so that I can get my personal paperwork back from her? He goes, but do you have a set of bolt cutters for my bicycle that's out back? And I said, what's it chained to, you know? And he said, it's actually chained to your AC unit. I said, yeah, no problem. I'll cut the lock. I'll cut the lock for anything attached to my AC unit. It's not supposed to be attached to that.
Right.
So I went out back and actually cut the lock on both of the bike locks, because Sarah would not answer the door for me, because she knew George was there. Once George was gone, she had moved from Philadelphia. And make sure I ain't going to see no kid on that. My concern for his well-being. The child, you know, he wasn't arrogant or anything, but she has told me in front of him that he has hit her and things that he's done, and he was not denying it. He never denied it. So George and her both expressed to me on many occasions that they knew they needed help. Yeah, but I'm guessing due to their financial situation, not having any work, probably why they didn't do much.
Right.
You know.
When you saw them together, who looked to be like more dominant? I mean, did one seem to be more dominant over the other?
George was very confident. You know, he wasn't arrogant or anything. He, for the most part, stayed to himself. Like I said, there are a couple people here that he knew, you know, from, I would say, another life from Philadelphia. And, you know, George was the one I always seen driving the vehicle. George is the one I always seen playing with the child.
All right, listen to what Melissa says about the previous excellent mother who worked at a child psychologist's office, how she interacted with her son. We're just going to debunk her excellent lies a little.
Never saw Sarah outside playing with her kid, ever. As a matter of fact, most of the time, Lucas, you would find him riding around the property on his bike, unattended. No parents outside, no nothing. Because I had actually had a conversation with Sarah about that. And I said, the kid was a great kid, don't get me wrong, he never did anything to get me in trouble, but it was more my concern for his well-being. When he's all the way riding over here, around some of these corners with the dumpsters, these people don't see nobody, and they sure ain't gonna see no kid on the bike. So I had a conversation with her about that, and we haven't had any really problems. I can say I've only seen Lucas on his bike away from her like that twice. She actually had secluded him to stay in front of the building, which was fine. I just didn't want him all the way over here. But yeah, you didn't see Sarah out at all. The only time I ever saw her, especially after the incident that took place with Emmett and his ex-girlfriend, it was more like a confrontation that took place in the office. She made an accusation on Emmett saying that he was trying to force
he and I had conversations about it because he didn't remember doing it to me. And the next day and the day of.
Is it fair to say that there are just points in time where you don't remember what you do either, correct?
Are you talking about almost 5 years ago?
I'm talking about from drinking. Is it fair to say that you don't often remember things that you did while you were drinking?
I would not say often.
Okay. In the course of your relationship with Mr. Torres, are there things you don't remember happening that happened the night before between you and him?
I can't say that at this point.
But you said that you don't remember taking that photograph at 11:03 p.m. on February 23rd, correct?
Yes.
Was there anything else that you were telling Mr. Torres that he needed to tell his brother?
Not that I can recall.
Okay. Was there anything you were telling him that he needed to tell his daughters?
Not that I can recall.
Now, you indicated that Mr. Torres would use your phone to look at pornography.
Correct.
Were there ever any points in times when it was you that was used looking at pornography?
If I was, it was to go back and look to see.
Did you ever threaten to get Mr. Torres arrested if he did not do what you wanted him to do?
I wouldn't say threaten.
Okay. Well, were there ever points in times where you would like him to call you or return a call, and if he didn't do that, you would threaten to get him arrested?
It depends on if he had my keys or something that I needed from him.
Okay. And it was your townhouse, correct?
Mine, yes. Flush hours.
Well, when did you get him off the lease?
I'm not sure what year it was, but I don't think he was actually removed from the lease.
Okay.
I think he was made a different type of tenant.
And did you change the locks so that he couldn't get back in at the points and times when you kicked him out?
I did, sometimes.
Okay. And then would you leave the key in the hiding spot that he was aware of?
Oh, it should be somewhere in here. They didn't find it.
There were multiple hiding places.
Okay. On any of the 911 calls, did you ever mention that Mr. Torres was aware of where you kept your keys and that's how he got back into the house?
I didn't know I needed to.
Okay.
He would never break into my home.
All right, and it's your testimony that you did not push him down the stairs, correct?
Yes.
And in fact, it was him that dragged you down the stairs the night before, correct?
Yes.
Now, by dragged, did you leave your feet?
Yes.
And did you get scrapes on your knees or anywhere from the carpet?
I'm not sure.
Did you get any injuries, like bruises or abrasions or scrapes?
I was missing a lot of my hair. Yes, that was on the stairwell.
Okay. And you agree that you were photographed on February 24th when the police came out, correct?
The day of the incident?
Well, the afternoon after the incident. We're not sure when he passed.
Yes.
Some of those photographs showed ashtrays inside your house. I thought you said you guys couldn't smoke inside your house.
We couldn't.
But you did, right?
Sometimes, yes.
I'm afraid
That has nothing to do with it.
Yes, it does.
And you agree you would go to the hospital and tell them things that were not true, correct?
Yes.
There were times where you would go to the hospital and leave without getting treatment, correct?
Yes.
And is it fair to say that you often had alcohol in your system when you were going to the hospital, correct?
Sometimes.
His whole family despises me. I'm afraid.
That has nothing to do with it.
Yes, it does.
Okay, let's watch Sarah tell more lies at the crime scene.
Anything though, like why or how?
So we will not know the answer to that because we're not doctors. So what's going to happen is he's going to go to the medical examiner's office and he'll have what's called an autopsy. Yeah. That'll be first thing tomorrow morning. I'll know a lot, hopefully a lot more tomorrow morning as far as him. But I cannot, there's no way I could say how, why.
So just by looking at him, like, why is he purple?
Oh, that's normal when someone passes away. Lividity, turn.
As soon as the heart stops beating, the blood starts to settle to the lowest points of the body. And then it becomes very pronounced. So that's what's called a public bleed. It happens every night.
I'm like really scared. I want you guys to know that.
You have all these deputies here, so while we're here, nothing's going to happen to you. Before we go and make any notifications, you'll have plenty of time to leave or do what you need to do. Whatever you need to do, okay? And we can talk about that more in length, but yeah, it's not going to be a surprise.
Real quick, and then,
But like, I don't, like, this was totally like not intentional. Like, that's what I'm scared about too. Like
We'll have all the answers. We'll have a lot more answers tomorrow after medical examiner looks at it. Like she said, what you're seeing here is common. This is us coming out to the scene. Yeah, his age, no real medical history that we know of. For him to have passed away, we come out.
I know.
Yeah. We come out and do an investigation. Medical examiner's office will be sending people out. This is what we do. If he was 75 years old and had a history of heart condition, we wouldn't be here.
I just don't know what I don't know what it is.
Exactly. And that's what we're here to find out. We're just here to get the answers. The answers that you want, the answers that his family's going to want.
I just really want to see my son. I really need to see my son. I mean, I know I can't go anywhere, but...
Right.
Looks like the blue-eyed white dragon is ready to bolt out of there. Run? I don't think there was enough spotlight shined on that comment there. She literally said, run? Like she was going to get out of there and run. So glad she went to get her cell phone from the office the next morning. Now, we'll hear her go on to discuss this bad guy that she's describing, how he puts her before his family. We're just going to see who's in control of the situation. Who do you guys think runs the relationship? Just from her words alone in this body cam right here. Special shout out to one of my subscribers, Annie. Hey, Annie. Annie is in the hospital on hospice, but she says, Danielle, I am holding on because I'm waiting for Judge Jackson and her motion. Know that. Shout out to you, Annie, and I hope you're having a beautiful day. Love you.
So do I just like sit out here and wait for you guys?
If you would, yes, please.
Is anybody else having to show up, or everybody's here that needs to be here?
My team's here. that needs to be here. The medical examiners will show up when we call them, but we're not ready for them yet. So they're going to take him, they're going to take some photos, take him, but that's towards the end of it. And they'll be called well in advance when we're ready for them, but we're not ready for them at this point. So we won't be calling them quite yet. Okay? So like I said, I got to go do some paperwork. They're going to chat with some people, and then we're going to come back and talk to you if you're okay with that.
Yes, please.
So just give us a little bit more time. Like I said, I need to go and do that, and he's going to go do what he needs to do.
But do you guys tell his family, like, today or after
Yes,
tomorrow?
We have to. It's the
By
law.
law, we have to go and make contact with the family.
Yeah.
They have to be notified.
Once our investigation is pretty much complete here, once we leave here, we will be going to...
But again, you'll know. We're not going to just go and do it without you knowing. You'll know. We'll talk to you prior to doing anything like that.
But how, I mean, I understand what you guys and how you do it, and, you know, so, but, like, what do you just tell him? What do you tell his parents? Like, what's the reason?
Passed away.
We tell them what we know at that point.
Yeah.
We tell them the truth.
And that we're going to be waiting for the autopsy results, and I will be at the autopsy in the morning, and hopefully the doctor will be able to give me some of what they think and see.
Yeah. We'll give them their number. They can contact them and get it from them.
But yeah, they're gonna know what we're here, what we're investigating, and that
They're gonna think I killed him.
Why would they think that?
They always have said that. They've always have said that.
What have they
I
said?
told you it's because I'm the blue-eyed white dragon. That's what they call me. Because they don't want him with me. So he's basically just not really been around his family because he chooses me over them. Even after I have encouraged him numerous times to go over there and see his family. They've never accepted me, and I have always been really unforgiving, I'll say that, where they've never accepted me, and everybody in his family has tried to kick my ass, so especially his sister. He had to pull her off me one time.
Do you have somewhere safe that you can go tonight?
Both my parents are deceased, my grandparents are deceased, and my aunt and uncle are deceased. I got nobody. I have a brother that's in the Marines, and I've got another one that's in jail.
And Les, the brother that's Marines, is he local?
No. Well, he in Altamont, but I think he's doing whatever Marine thing he's doing. But the only way...
Your phone's inside, correct?
Yes.
Does he have a phone?
No.
He doesn't have a phone.
He used my phone.
He uses your phone.
Yeah, we did it
share
together.
phone.
So, the only place I could go...
What we tell his parents? What do you mean?
Because
We're gonna talk with them.
Yeah.
okay,
I have to
but it's
tell-
going to come down to me.
What do you mean?
Like, so it's being put on me.
Who said that?
But I'm not, so what is it you would tell them?
We're gonna give them an update, just like we gave you an update on their autopsy.
Okay, so it's whatever
Well,
bruise,
here's the thing.
whatever on the head.
We had to deliver news to them last night that their son was dead. There's not a whole lot of conversation that goes on after that. It's not a very easy thing
Was
to
it yesterday or Sunday? Sunday. Today's Tuesday, right?
Did we not meet you yesterday? We met you yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm just asking. Right? Did we not meet yesterday?
It's a valid question.
Really? Yes, on Monday.
Okay.
Got it.
Perfect.
One last question. You realize you're the person that killed him, right?
I thought about that.
Okay, you left him in a bag when he's begging you, saying, I can't breathe, let me out, and you said, fuck you. And you got up off the couch and went upstairs and left him in that bag.
Not intentionally.
Again,
I would never do that to George.
you did.
Not
It happened.
intentionally. Know that.
I don't.
Know that.
You got up and you went up to bed.
Alcohol is a shitty thing. It's alcohol.
So
Not,
alcohol
again,
is the reason that you killed him?
you all,
Please sit down.
listen to me.
Please sit down.
You all, listen. I did not
not intentionally kill him.
So your intention?
I don't know what it is I need to
punish
do
him?
or how to do it or what to say or how to say it.
But what was your intention?
Everyone knows. Everyone knows everything that I've done for George and love him and continuously helped him throughout his life with me.
If you made it this far, you know I appreciate you, and I will see you on the next episode. Bye!